turn of events, on Thursday night, the Enforcement Directorate has arrested Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in connection with the liquor case which unfolded in Delhi in 2021 and 2022. Today, the Enforcement Directorate has sought a 10-day remand for the Delhi Chief Minister, and the order on this particular remand application of ED has been reserved by the trial court, which is going on right now. And the judge, Kaveri Baweja, has said she will need some more time to deliver the order. Earlier in the day, the Enforcement Directorate Counsel and the Defence Counsels argued in the court. The ED mainly has said that Arvind Kejriwal is the real kingpin in this entire scam, where the Aam Admi Party government in Delhi tweaked the liquor policy in order to favor a certain liquor cartel from South India, where the key role was played by the daughter of K. Chandrasekhar Rao, who is the Telangana Chief Minister. We all know, Sandeep, that the daughter has been already arrested on March 18, and in fact, interestingly, it is for the first time after Kavita's arrest that Kejriwal has been named as a conspirator in the matter. How do you see the overall situation unfolding?
You see, to start with the beginning, Aditi, there was a liquor policy in 2010. So when Mr. Kejriwal came into power, naturally he didn't like anything that the Congress government had done, but he allowed that policy to continue. That policy had a number of flaws, and honestly speaking, any liquor policy in any state will have the flaws. There's an inherent thing. The state or you and I, we want to give liquor license per shop or per zone. But because these liquor retailers, they want to take a hefty margin from wholesalers, how do they do that? By having 20 shops in Benami names or 2 or 3 zones in Benami names. So all that was going on at that time, and this liquor policy was supposed to correct that. And so they announced the liquor policy with a big bang, and as you know, a bit too many liquor vends were opened. Private sector, they rankled. I'm a teetotaler, but I'm not opposed to alcohol. But there were one too many liquor vends that had opened at that time, and there were civic protests against that also. And then, as you know, the Congress also wrote a complaint letter to the Delhi Police Commissioner, and this was followed by a substantial complaint by the Delhi Chief Secretary to the Lieutenant Governor, who handed the case over to the CBI. And then finally it went to the ED. And what we have at that is that the ED has alleged that there were shell companies or Benami companies which participated in the auctions, and they took over various zones for themselves. So there was one gentleman by the name of Maguna Raghav Reddy. So Maguna Raghav Reddy took over 5 zones by that means. And then there were others also who were involved in it. And we have seen that there have been 2 high-profile AAP arrests of Mr. Sanjay Singh and the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Right. And you have mentioned Kavita, of course. Yeah. And in between, there were also the media convener of AAP, Vijay Nair, who the ED alleges is the middleman between these 2 people, the South Group and the Aam Admi Party. And more damaging, what the ED says is that it has found proof that some of this bribe was used in the elections of Goa. And overall, the ED has said that the bribe money was allegedly used in elections in Goa, Punjab, and what they suspect is that Uttarakhand and a couple of other states, or Gujarat also.
Taking from where you said, Sandeep, you know, the fact of the matter is that it was immediately after the elections in Gujarat that Aam Admi Party acquired a national party status. You remember it was already a recognized party in 4 states, starting with Delhi, Gujarat, Goa and Punjab. And the only requirement that was left was to actually become a recognized party in the 4th state, which became Gujarat, and then they became a national party. And in the same order, and in that same order of the Election Commission, NCP and TMC lost the national party status.
NCP,
so that was the political importance of that time. And that is also the reason why, you know, this whole case has acquired such an interesting, dimension.
That is very true. And while it has acquired a political dimension, a huge political dimension, because Aditi, these people had come to end corruption and to throw Sheila Dikshit in jail, etc., etc. So there's a huge political dimension behind it. as well as an economic dimension behind it. Because if all policies are going to be panned like this, it will be very difficult for any government to really proceed with the liquor policy. But having said that, the ED has so far made allegations about money trail. They have not found out any money trail as yet. So the ED has a considerable amount of hard work ahead of them to really establish the money trail, and as you mentioned, to link Mr. Kejriwal in it.
Right. In fact, today I was hearing some of the arguments that were being made by the Defense Counsel of Kejriwal. They were saying that what is the additional material on record on the basis of which you have arrested my client? Because so far the ED had been maintaining before the High Court, where the case is already going on, and as we all know, viewers, that it was after the High Court declined interim protection to Mr. Kejriwal yesterday that he was taken into custody by ED. Otherwise, Mr. Kejriwal had gone for some relief to the High Court. So the fact of the matter is, the defense counsels are arguing, as you are saying, what is the additional material on record? But ED counsel rebutted the defense counsel today, saying that under the section, pertaining section of the PMLA Act, we have a right to arrest in order to further the investigation. And they also argued that Manish Sisodia, the former deputy CM, was also arrested like this by us. Because we all know, viewers, that first the CBI had arrested Manish Sisodia in the same case, and later on the ED came in to establish a money trail.
Okay.
But like you said, Sandeep, ED has today for the first time said in the court that we have established a money trail. They say we have witnesses. A certain candidate of Aam Admi Party in Goa has told us that I received cash through a certain Hawala route. So today is the first time when ED has actually said on record in court that we have been in a position to establish a money trail.
So
what does that politically mean for Kejriwal?
Yes, things get interesting from this point onwards, because even if ED produces a money trail, that may take a lot of time to substantiate. But the fact that the ED puts a money trail of Mr. Kejriwal and Aam Admi Party, that will make it very challenging for Mr. Kejriwal to really shrug it off. Because like it or not, people of India largely believe in the institutions, and so they also believed in the electoral bonds data that came out. So by that same token, they will also believe when a court hears ED and decides upon it. But apart from it, I want to make an aside. Whether it was the crackdown against Naxalites or about extending the period in which the income tax can look at past assessment years, or if we look at this PMLA, where an amendment was made that made it virtually non-bailable for a person to get out.
Absolutely.
All three were made during the UPA years by a very clever lawyer who was both the home and the foreign minister by turns. So, one must always think 3 steps ahead and try to work out whether that noose does not get tightened around your neck.
Okay, tell me something. Everybody wants to know. Should Mr. Kejriwal stay or resign as Chief Minister? He's allowed to stay as per the law.
Yes, he's allowed to stay, and my gut feeling is that he would prefer to be a martyr, because he doesn't have much of a bench strength behind him. Swati Maliwal or Marlena, for instance, Atishi Singh, now she calls herself, or even Sunita Kejriwal, they are all bit players all around Kejriwal. So Kejriwal also suffers from the problem of having kicked out all the top leaders from his party earlier. So there is really no one of stature there, and because of that reason, and because of the reason because of which outgoing CMs nominate their wives, so because of that reason, he will try to hold on to that chair.
Okay.
But Aditi, I would be very intrigued. I'm intrigued, and I want to ask you. If you look into your crystal gazing glass, and tell us what will be the impact of a jailed Kejriwal in Haryana, Delhi, and Punjab.
You see, this is a question everybody in the political circles is asking. The first question everybody wants an answer to is, how did the government of the day, take such a risk? Because you see, there are political repercussions. In the past, if we look, all corruption-related cases have resulted in sympathy for the protagonist. For instance, J. Jayalalitha. When she went to jail, she came back a martyr, she won elections. Now the question, Sandeep, arises is, does Prime Minister Narendra Modi, carry on with his political narrative against corruption? Because time and again he has from public platforms said that the fight against corruption will not stop, come what may. He is trying to create a new lexicon in Indian political system. So far, corruption was a kind of it was not a political issue. There are many, sitting chief ministers. We know of Lalu Yadav. We know earlier of Madhu Koda. We know of J. Jayalalitha. I already mentioned. Then Jagannath Mishra also was involved in the fodder scam. So there has been a kind of tradition of alleged corruption in political circles being acceptable across all parties. This is the first time that the Prime Minister is trying to challenge that narrative. Is corruption acceptable? He also has been saying that glorification of the corrupt is something that we will not tolerate. He's trying to actually generate public opinion around it, and the Lok Sabha election in Delhi especially, as you asked, will be the first test case of whether Prime Minister's narrative against corruption is succeeding. That's my assessment. I don't know whether people are going to treat Mr. Kejriwal as a martyr or as a scam accused, but the election results will tell us.
Yeah, and in Delhi, the AAP Congress already had a huge gap to cover.
Absolutely.
There were 3, 4, 5 lakh vote difference between the first and the second here.
Yeah.
So this will make it even more challenging. And what do you think about the opposition of the index of opposition unity with Kejriwal's arrest? How does it play out?
I think the India bloc stands considerably emaciated today, because the first major death knell that was sounded was by the exit of Nitish Kumar. Then Mamata Banerjee distanced herself from the Congress, no seat sharing with the Congress in West Bengal. Now Kejriwal's exit changes everything, because he is the only phenomenal leader left in the opposition camp, especially in the India bloc. And as you earlier mentioned in the introductory remarks, Kejriwal has the capacity to organize. He does touch the pulse of the people. He is somebody people accept. We have seen it in Punjab. They won a historic mandate, they won a historic mandate in 2022 elections. That was the next best performance after the Akali Dal and BJP combined had posted one in 1997, I think, in the elections in the state, where they won 93 seats. And these people have also won 92, although they have not crossed that. So I think Kejriwal's absence is going to create a further void in the opposition camp.
Yes, so that means it will be a tough challenge for opposition, although they will try to portray Mr. Kejriwal as a martyr.
Yeah.
But the absence of Kejriwal will be even more acutely felt than an issue on which they can campaign as a martyr. And what about Punjab? You have been seeing Punjab that a lot of ministers have rushed over to Delhi to express solidarity with Mr. Kejriwal.
Yeah.
And
I think, Sandeep, Punjab right now, since there is no alliance between Akali Dal and BJP, Aam Admi Party already has a natural advantage. Now, in case there is a complete void on the Akali Dal and BJP side and there is no pact, then I see this situation post Kejriwal's arrest as a complete win-win for the Aam Admi Party and a major jolt for the Congress, because these are the two main parties right now in the absence of a rival alliance.
And in Haryana, where there seems to be an alliance between the Congress and the Aam Admi Party.
Haryana, I have a feeling that currently there is advantage BJP. And I don't think, because you see, Punjab and Haryana vote and behave very differently. Punjab was the only state in North India which had rejected the BJP in the past 2019 elections, unlike Haryana.
And if we remember in 2014, when almost the entire North India was voting for BJP, they voted four places for Aam Admi Party. So Punjab does think differently.
Yeah. So I think that's about it, viewers. We'll come back with more updates as and when they happen. Thank you.